Aha. Hey, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm so glad you're here and listening to this or listening to it on replay because this is going to be one of those conversations that really stays with you. And if you've been feeling stuck in your health journey, whether it's losing weight or building healthier habits or just feeling like yourself again, today's topic might be exactly what you need to hear. So, we're going to be talking about the stories we tell ourselves. So, let me start with a question. Have you ever said or thought any of these things? I'm too old to lose weight. It's my hormones, right? I can't change what's happening to my body. I've tried everything and nothing works for me. Or even I'll never have the energy or discipline to stick to a plan or diet or whatever it is that you're trying to do to live a healthy lifestyle. Because I know I have. And in fact, I think I've said every one. One of those that might have been just me reflected here on the page there. Like many times I've said those stories to myself. And for a long time, they really felt true. But here's what I've learned. These are just thoughts. They are not facts. There's a big difference there. They're stories. And stories, my friend, are something that we can completely rewrite. So today we're going to explore why the stories we tell ourselves matter so much, where these stories are coming from, because spoiler alert, it's not always your fault, how to recognize when a story is holding you back, and most importantly, how to rewrite these stories into something that's empowering that propels you forward. So let me share a quick personal story to get us started. So for years, I told myself I'll never lose weight because I have no self-control. I just don't have the willpower to stick to my diet. Have you ever said that? And I believed it because I had proof. Like all the diets that I tried, and you should see the multitude of books I have here in my office with me. All the diets I tried, I just couldn't stick to. And all the times, I would choose like the cookie over the salad, or even have the salad and then reward myself with a cookie, right? And, I just fell for the old, I'll work it off in the gym, or I'll get back on track tomorrow. This is just a treat. I'll be fine. No big deal. All of those were myths, right? That never came to pass. I never really got fully back on track or, worked it off in the gym. And that story and its accompanying big word there excuses kept me stuck in an endless cycle of kind of like deprivation and binge, diet and splurge, right? Every time I thought about starting something new, I'd hear that voice saying, "Why bother? You're gonna fail again. You did it last time. I mean, that goes proof. You've done it before. You failed multiple times before. Why even try again?" But something shifted when I started to question that story, when I started to question that voice in my head. Was it true? Did I really lack self control or willpower? Or was I stuck in a cycle of unsustainable plans that just weren't right for me? When I rewrote that story to, I'm a healthy person, and if you're a client of mine, you hear me say that all the time. I'm a healthy person, and I'm learning how to make choices that support my health. Everything changed for me. And in fact, I repeat that stuff all the time. I'm a healthy person. I make healthy choices. I rewrote my story, right? And that's what I want for you, to uncover those stories, to challenge them, and to write them in a way that supports your goals. So grab a drink if you don't have one already, get comfy, and let's dive in. All right, why these stories matter. So let's just start with the basics. What do I mean by the stories we tell ourselves? So these are internal narratives, or that little voice that's, in your head telling you things that run through your mind, often without you even realizing that. They're thoughts and beliefs that pop up when you're faced with a challenge, a decision, or even just a moment of self-reflection. And these stories can be empowering. Yes, they can. Like, I'm capable of figuring this out. I got this. I got it. Or they can be limiting. Like, I've never been able to lose weight, so why try? And the tricky thing about these stories is that they often feel like facts. They're not just thoughts, they're deeply ingrained beliefs shaped by years of experiences, societal messages, and even how we've interpreted our past successes and failures. And these narratives become the lens through which we see ourselves and the world around us. For example, imagine if you've set a goal, a goal to lose weight, and you find yourself thinking, I always fail at this. That's not an objective truth. It's a story that your mind has crafted, likely based on a few past experiences or many past experiences. But because it feels so real, it influences how you approach your goal. You might not put in as much effort because deep down you know, oh, eventually I'm going to fail. And when the results don't come, it reinforces that story. See, I was right. I always fail. What makes these stories so important is that they're not just fleeting thoughts, they're the foundation, the cornerstones of your mindset. And your mindset is the key to everything: how you set your goals, how you handle setbacks, and whether you keep pushing forward or give up. And here's the kicker: most of these stories operate on autopilot. You might not even be aware of them, but they're running in the background. They're shaping your feelings, choices, and outcomes. Think of them like the script of a play. You're the actor, and the story dictates your role. So the good news, you're also the playwright. You have the power to rewrite the script. And recognizing these stories is the first step to change. It's like flipping on a light switch in the dark room, and you can finally see what's been holding you back. And the story dictates your role. And once you're aware of these narratives, and once you're aware of these stories, you can start to challenge and reshape them into something that supports your goals instead of sabotaging them. So, how our stories shape our reality. Here's how it works, right? Stories influence your feelings. If you tell yourself, I'm not good at sticking to a plan, how does that make you feel? Probably unmotivated, defeated, and even hopeless, right? Your feelings drive your actions or even your inactions, right? When you feel unmotivated, are you going to take steps forward towards your goal? Probably not. I know, I've done that before. And then your actions create your results, right? So, and when you don't take action, you don't get results, which reinforces the original story. See, I told you, you can't stick to anything. It is a classic self-fulfilling prophecy. So some examples of some common stories here. So let me know in the comments if any of these kind of ring true for you, right? And some of these are ones that I've heard from my clients. I can't lose weight because of my hormones. Does that ring a bell? Heating, that's two words together. Healthy eating is too expensive. Does that ring a bell too? I'm too busy to focus on myself right now. I mean, I know we all have crazy busy lives, right? So that one definitely has to ring a bell with you. So if it does, comment in and let me know. I mean, these stories feel valid because they're tied to real challenges. And when you believe them without questioning them, key thing there, they become barriers that help keep you stuck. So there's power in rewriting your stories. And that's the exciting part. Your stories aren't fixed. They can change. You are the author of your own narrative and you can rewrite it at any time. There is a study done in 2016 in the journal Personality and Social Psychology Review that showed that people who reframed negative self-beliefs are more likely to achieve their goals. And by changing the way you think about yourself, you can change the way you act and the results you get. And I can personally testify to the power of taking control over your stories. I'm not where I am with my health because of luck or genetics. My mom was here last week telling me how terrible the genetics are in my family. It's because I took control over my stories. So where do these stories come from? Oh, it looks like I have low service here. I'm not going to touch my screen because I'll lose things. So where do these stories come from? Well, understanding these stories and where they come from is crucial because they didn't appear out of nowhere. They've been shaped over time by your environment, experiences, and even the way your brain is wired. And these origins can make the stories feel valid and unchangeable. Like, this is just the way I am. But recognizing their sources helps you see them for what they are: constructs, not facts. Key thing there, not facts. So let's break it down. Cultural conditioning. So, cultural conditioning refers to the beliefs and ideas that society, media, definitely media, and even well meaning friends and family, yep, that they instill in us. These messages create a framework for how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to act, and how we're supposed to feel, especially as women navigating perimenopause and menopause. For instance, have you ever heard phrases like, weight gain during menopause is just part of aging? Or once you hit a certain age, it's all downhill. These ideas might be subtle, but over time they shape what you believe is possible for yourself. Society often reinforces the idea that women over 45 or 40 or whatever age should accept a life of slowing down, feeling less vibrant, and giving up on goals like weight loss or fitness. No, thank you. These external messages can feel like the truth because they're everywhere, but they're often rooted in outdated or oversimplified ideas about aging and health. Recognizing how cultural conditioning has shaped your internal stories is the first step to breaking free from them. Past experiences. So, your past experiences are one of the most powerful influences on the stories that you tell yourself. Every success, failure, and challenge you've faced contributes to the narratives running through your mind. If you've tried dieting in the past and struggled to see results or gain the weight back later, you might develop a story like, well, nothing ever works for me. If you've skipped workouts or abandoned plans before, you might tell yourself, I'm just not disciplined enough. What's tricky is that these stories can feel like evidence based truths. After all, they're rooted in your personal history. But here's the thing: just because something didn't work before doesn't mean it can't work now. Sometimes it's about finding a new approach, not about your ability to succeed. Our past can be a really heavy anchor, but it can also be a really good teacher. And when you learn to separate the facts from the emotional weight of those experiences, you can rewrite the story in a way that moves you forward instead of holding you back. Comparison is another one, and that's where social media comes in big time. So, comparison is one of the sneakiest ways we create negative stories about ourselves. It's what happens when you measure yourself against others, like friends, families, celebrities. I mean, there are a bunch of celebrities out there that are looking totally different nowadays, right? Um, or even strangers you see on social media or on the street, and you decide that, what, I just don't measure up to that. I could never be like that. Think about it. How many times have you scrolled through Instagram or Facebook or name the social media platform and seen someone who looks like they have it all together? Effortless weight loss, glowing skin, a perfect fitness routine, prepping their meals, blah, 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 right? It's easy to think, why can't I be like her? Or I'll never have what she has. Comparison creates stories like, everyone else has it figured out but me. Not true. If I can't look like that, why bother trying? But here's the truth: what you're seeing is a curated version of somebody's life and not the whole picture. You don't see their struggles, setbacks, or the hard work it took to get where they are. When you compare yourself to an idealized image, you're measuring yourself against a standard that's often unrealistic. Instead of comparing yourself to others, try comparing yourself to where you were yesterday or even at the last meal, right? Progress is personal and it's your journey that is unique. All right, the next one is psychological factors. So your brain plays a significant role in creating and maintaining these stories that you tell yourself. It's wired to keep you safe and comfortable. Keyword there, comfortable. But sometimes that means clinging to limiting beliefs and excuses that hold you back. Two key psychological processes at work here are confirmation bias, and that's the first one. And this is your brain's tendency to look for evidence that supports what you already believe. If you think I can't lose weight, you'll notice every failed attempt or slow progress and ignore the small wins. Have you ever done that before? Comment in and let me know. And the next process is negativity bias. So, this is your brain's natural focus on the negative. It's a survival mechanism designed to help you avoid danger. Lions, tigers, bears, back in the day when we had to worry about those things. But it often leads to fixating on setbacks instead of celebrating successes. So, these mental shortcuts are meant to protect you, which it's a good thing, but they can also keep you stuck. And the good news is your brain is adaptable. By becoming aware of these patterns, you can start to challenge and change them, creating new stories that support your goals. Boop. Oh, that's not the next page. Come on. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. All right. So, truth versus sabotage. How do you figure out if your story is true? Or is it just self sabotage? Grab a pen and some paper and write these questions down to really muddle over later. So ask yourself, what's the evidence for my story? So if your story is I don't have enough time to focus on my health, ask yourself, is there really no time? Probably as you're sitting on the couch, scrolling through Netflix. Or are there small moments that I could use more intentionally? A second one is, what's the evidence against my story? So often we ignore the evidence that contradicts our beliefs. What evidence is contrary to that story that I don't have time? Again, I'm sitting on the couch scrolling Netflix. I think that's evidence in and of itself, right? Would you say this to a friend? So imagine your best friend says, I'm too old to lose weight. Would you be like, yeah, give up now. That's it. It's all over, honey. No, you wouldn't. You probably wouldn't agree. You would probably encourage her to try and maybe even give her some tips that you've heard, right? And does this story help me or hold me back? So this story of I don't have time to focus on my health or I am too old to lose weight. Is it serving you? If it's not, it's time to let it go. See if I hit the right button here. Boom. All right. Reframing in action. So, reframing is about shifting your perspective and creating a new, more empowering story to replace the one that's holding you back. It's not about ignoring challenges, but seeing them through a new lens, a positive lens of positivity and possibility and growth. So, let's walk through some examples of common negative stories and how you can reframe them. I'm going to share a couple examples here. The first one, I've always failed at dieting, so I can't succeed now. This story often comes from past experiences where diets were too restrictive or unsustainable, leading to short-term results or feelings of failure. So you can reframe that, right? My past experiences taught me what doesn't work for me. Now I'm ready to find an approach that fits my lifestyle and supports my long-term goals. This reframing shifts the focus from failure to learning, empowering you to approach your health journey with new, fresh perspectives. All right, here's another example. It's my hormones. I can't control what's happening to my body. So hormonal changes during menopause and perimenopause, actually, but most of mine were during perimenopause before I even knew I was in it. They can feel overwhelming. You have no idea what's going on with your body. And it's easy to fall into a trap of thinking that you're absolutely powerless. Oh, the things I wish I knew then that I know now. So reframing things. Hormonal changes make things more challenging, no doubt, but they're not insurmountable. I can take steps like eating nourishing foods, moving my body, and managing stress. If there's any tip I can give you, is manage that stress. To support my health and feel at my best. This reframe acknowledges the challenge while focusing on actionable steps that you can take. All right, this third one here. I don't have the willpower to stick to a plan or stick to a diet, right? This story often comes from our past attempts at following those strict diets or crazy exercise routines that felt absolutely impossible to maintain, especially if you have a crazy busy life. So here's the reframe. It's not about willpower. And honestly, don't rely on willpower, it's a limited resource. But it's about finding habits that work for me. When I focus on small, sustainable changes, I don't need willpower. I just need consistency. So by reframing this, you move from blaming yourself, which is a bad place to be in because you get in those guilt spirals, to seeking strategies that align with your life. Reframing is a powerful tool because it shifts your mindset from limitation, kind of that negative space, to a positive space filled with possibility. And you are what you think you are. Seriously, it is so true. And your actions will follow. So, with every reframe, you create space for action and growth, moving closer to your goals one step at a time. If one of these examples resonates with you, try writing it down and repeating it to yourself daily. It can make a big difference. And if you didn't catch the reframe, put into the comments, post in the comments, and let me know which one you want, and I'll drop it in there for you. Okay, next page. So, rewriting negative stories. Here's where the real work begins, rewriting your stories. So, the first step is identifying the thought. And in doing that, you're bringing awareness to what you're saying. So you're shining a light on the subconscious and the autopilot thoughts by identifying it, by looking for it. If you look for it, you will find it. Your brain will show you what it is. It's called your reticular activating system. I love it. It's a fun one. Look that up. So pay attention to the thoughts that pop up when you think about your health journey and write them down. Write it on a post-it, write it on a scrap piece of paper, write it on a receipt, whatever's handy. Write it down so you have it, and then you can take these steps against it. Step number 2, challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is this story based on facts or assumptions? What's a more balanced way? What's a different way to look at this? And then replace that thought. So going back to our reframing, swap that negative story for a positive, more empowering one. So there's some practical tools you can do with this. So challenging and reframing, which we just talked about. Write down, capture those thoughts. Literally, they're like butterflies flying around, or a fly. Miyagi that. Grab that fly, grab that thought with some chopsticks, and write it down. And then challenge it with facts. Poke holes in that thought because it is not a truth, not necessarily a truth. And then replace it or reframe it with a positive alternative. You can use mindfulness practices with this. Honestly, yoga and meditation helped a lot on my journey to learn to make peace with myself, make peace with my body, and give me those, again, peace moments of peace where I could really think through these things. So you can use deep breathing or guided meditation or just meditation in general or even prayer to pause negative thought loops. Sometimes all you need is to really take a breather and disconnect from autopilot to refocus your thoughts on your needs and goals. And a lot of times, stress triggers our automatic habits. I'm sure you can think of a handful right now that stress triggers. And learning to tame the voices in your head has been key for me for making better choices on my journey. Another one is visualization. In my total transformation program, I have a bunch of visualizations and meditations in there, but it's a powerful mental exercise that helps you connect with the version of yourself who has already achieved those goals. So close your eyes for a second and imagine yourself 6 months, a year, or even 5 years from now. Picture what thriving looks like for you. See yourself moving with confidence and energy, wearing the clothes that make you feel amazing, getting back into some of the clothes that are in the back of your closet waiting for you. And see yourself engaging in activities that actually bring you joy. Playing with your grandkids, going out for a walk, walking up the stairs and not feeling pain in your knees, right? Visualize that going on. Visualize your future self making healthy choices effortlessly, choosing nourishing foods, prioritizing movement, enjoying a balanced, vibrant life. Imagine the sense of pride and accomplishment you feel for sticking with your journey. Pat yourself on the back in that visualization. The clearer and more detailed this mental picture, the stronger the emotional pull to take the steps needed to make a reality. Visualization isn't just daydreaming, because studies have shown it can increase motivation and improve outcomes by training your brain to recognize opportunities to stay focused on your goals. Again, that comes back to that reticular activating system, which is my BFF. It will show you opportunities. When you're focused on the things that you want, your brain will show you opportunities to get more of it. Gratitude journaling. That's another great one. So write 3 things that you're proud of every morning or at night throughout the day. Gratitude journaling is a simple yet transformative practice that can shift your mindset from focusing on what's wrong to appreciating what's going well. And again, your reticular activating system, it'll start showing you more of what's going well, what's awesome in your life. When you take a few moments each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, you train your brain to notice the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small they may seem. For example, you might write, I'm grateful for taking a 10-minute walk today, or I'm thankful for the energy to cook a healthy dinner. These small acknowledgments create a ripple effect, helping you build confidence and motivation over time. And research shows that practicing gratitude can improve mental health, increase resilience, and even enhance physical well being, making it a valuable tool for navigating your health journey. So start with just 3 things each day, whether it's about your progress or your body or the people that support you that are around you. And watch how it helps you reframe your mindset for success. Okay, so let's recap what we've talked about today. The stories we tell ourselves shape our reality. They influence our feelings, actions, and results. These stories often come from cultural conditioning, past experiences, or comparison, but they aren't set in stone. And by identifying, challenging, and rewriting or reframing these narratives, you can create a mindset that supports your own health journey rather than holding you back. Boop, next page. So here's the truth. You have the power to rewrite your story. Write down, this is an action thing, take action. Do this. Please do this. Write down one negative story that you've been telling yourself. Then I want you to challenge it. And then I want you to rewrite it in a positive, empowering way. And then share it in the comments of our self-sabotage solution group. And remember, you're not defined by your past stories. You have the power to write a new one starting now, right? Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on everything we've covered, okay? Because you can see how, and I hope you can, see how changing the way you think can change your success on your health journey, especially during perimenopause and menopause when everything is so challenging. And this is exactly why I help women to like you in my Total Transformation program. In that program, I go in depth to teach you all the tools I've learned along the way to become happy, healthy, and live a life I love in a body I love. So imagine starting the new year with a clear mind, a focused plan, and the tools to overcome those negative stories that have been holding you back. Take a drink right at the end. So if that sounds like you and like a fresh start that you need, I'd love to help you make it happen. And that's why I'm offering a free 15-minute healthy habits call to kick off your transformation. During this call, we'll talk about where you're feeling stuck and how I can help you get both healthy mentally and physically. So the link to schedule your free call is right here on the page, glowforlifefitness.com/healthy habits, or you can message me directly. And spots are limited, so yeah, especially at the end of the year going into the new year when everybody's refocused on their health and wellness, so don't wait long. All right, that's it for today. I plan on coming back on Mondays, like a mindset Monday type deal. So look forward to talking to you next week, and thank you for spending this time with me. Take care. Bye.